At the turn of the 20th century, in a city graced with designs by Frederick Law Olmsted, H. Richardson, and Louis Sullivan, one man did something extraordinary. Darwin D. Martin, an executive with the Larkin Soap Company, brought Frank Lloyd Wright to the table. Martin's influence in bringing America's greatest architect to Buffalo, New York, resulted in an array of buildings, including two iconic works of his Prairie period, the Larkin Administration Building and the Martin House. The Larkin Building would become legendary as a progressive commercial design years ahead of its time. The Martin House complex was Wright's domestic symphony, an expansive suite of buildings that Wright regarded as one of the enduring and inspiring compositions of his early career. Demolished in 1950, the Larkin Building was perhaps the greatest architectural loss in Buffalo's history. But thanks to an unprecedented effort, the Martin House complex has fared much better. Abandoned for over 16 years, the complex became a misunderstood eyesore in a residential section of a city beset by hard times. The complex lost 3 of its 6 original buildings to the wrecking ball in the early 1960s and seemed destined for a fate similar to Wright's Larkin Building. Then, slowly but surely, the Martin House emerged from the shadows. Community leaders and preservationists alike rallied around the house. The Martin House Restoration Corporation was formed in 1992, and a formal campaign to save the Martin House began that year. Now, nearly 2 decades later, the Martin House complex has reached milestone after milestone. 4 major phases of restoration work, including the ambitious recreation of the pergola, conservatory, and carriage house, have been completed. A distinctive yet complementary visitor center, the Eleanor and Wilson Greatbatch Pavilion, designed by architect Toshiko Mori, stands adjacent to the historic structures. Begun in 2010, the final major phase focuses on restoring the interior of the Martin House through an intricate combination of major mechanical upgrades and an aesthetically driven restoration of Wright's detailed woodwork and finishes. The Martin House restoration project has captured the hearts and minds of a community committed to reinventing itself for the 21st century. As the effort nears completion and begins to realize its full potential, the project is attracting accolades from well beyond Western New York. But accolades don't directly support bricks and mortar. In today's economy, amidst the harsh realities of Buffalo's high-stakes makeover, any project must prove its worth on the balance sheet as well as on the front page. With the enduring appeal of Frank Lloyd Wright as an international brand, the Martin House is recognized as a linchpin of economic development, fueled by the community's world-class cultural assets. With a coalition of public and private funding, visionary investors realize that a fully restored Martin House complex will yield economic benefits for decades to come. At the turn of the 20th century, Buffalo was the 8th largest city in America, with a growing number of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings that rivaled Chicago. Now, Buffalo is shaking off decades of Rust Belt stereotypes. The Martin House and many other masterpieces of American architecture are shining anew and leading the way to a brighter future. The table is set, and you are invited to join us and share in this success.